So once again, very good afternoon to all of you. She is Dr. Monica Jolie, and she is Chief Technical Officer associated with Dr. Archana Sachdev. Today she will brief you about today's practical, and thereafter we will go to the lab where she will also help you in conducting the practical. So, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Suneha. Good afternoon to everyone. So today our interaction, let's start the interaction with the word hunger. Okay. So these days the crux of the situation is it is not the hunger of the food, it is hunger of the nutrition. So every field, every genomics, omics, nutrigenomics, nutraceutical, biofortification, everything ultimately leads to the nutritional aspect of the thing. And this has become such an important issue that at the government level also people are making campaigns and just making everyone aware of the thing that how important is the nutrition. So nutritional aspects has to be taken care of. Earlier we were more focusing on the yield, but now nutrition is the major aspect and every science is now ultimately end with the nutritional aspect. So nutrition is again a very wide thing, and we are more concentrating on the anti-nutrients effects which we are just seeing all around. And because of this there are many health hazards, malnutrition is there, and that leads to many health issues like cancer is becoming so popular, diabetes, blood pressure, these are very common things. So we just have to focus only on the anti-nutrient aspects of the crop. So today our topic is phytic acid estimation. So phytic acid is nothing but a inositol hexal 6 phosphate, and it has 6 folds. So due to this, the phytic acid is why it is becoming popular, because it is mostly gets binded to the nutrients, and especially calcium, zinc, iron, magnesium, and so on. So because it binds to that, that means it reduces the absorption of these micronutrients. And even if we are eating a lot, we are saying we are eating very healthy diet, but sometimes it doesn't get absorbed with the body and it excrete out like as such. So phytic acid is mainly present, 70% of the phytic acid is in the form of phosphorus, and it is abundantly find in the mainly in the cereals, pulses or nuts. So cereals, when we see, then we always go for that it should be highly nutritious, because that constitute the major food for anybody. So then again we are mostly seeing things people are already doing, working under it, and there are a lot many different estimation procedures over there. But then again, if you focus for the specificity of some certain plants or specific crop, then again you have to go and work on that. So phytic acid estimation process we are going to start today. And in our lab we have already worked and we have created many transgenics which are low phytate, and HPLC method also been standardized and is published in the lab. And one more procedure is there, which is the estimation procedure by the Megazyme. Megazyme is a kit which we use for the phytic acid, and in this procedure we are not going to get the direct phytic acid, but we get the total phosphorus which is calculated in relation to the phytic acid. So I think you must have gone through your manuals also which you have got, but in that we have given the HPLC methodology only. But I think HPLC, it is very efficient. The only thing is you need a cumbersome equipments for that. And I think everywhere we won't be able to just get all those things. So if and you have a large scale of population of your samples, then you need Megazyme kits kind of a thing, which is very handy, efficient, and it saves time also, plus cost effective. HPLC grade chemicals itself cost a lot, so sometimes you have to go for only the things which will give you result, but at the same time it is cost effective also. So today you people are going to use that phytic acid estimation through spectrophotometrically only, but the HPLC methodology we have also done for the UPLC. We have just improved some of the things in that, and we were successful in getting good results through UPLC also. But in phytic acid estimation, especially with the UPLC or for the HPLC processes, you need at least 2 days, and the procedure is initially you have to defed the sample, take the powder, defed the sample, then you have to pass, when you extract the sample, you have to pass through the columns under vacuum, and once it has been extracted, then you have to just reduce the volume, because as such you are using that sample, and you have to have a very concentrate and purified form for the UPLC. So that again takes approximately 48 days, and it is also not possible for any class if you want to work for that. So that's why today we just planned that we will go for the colorimetric estimation, and that is to Megazyme kit. They provide everything plus few chemicals you have to prepare yourself, and it is already mentioned in everything. So phytic acid is why it is an important component, because phytic acid is mostly is a substance which is always been there as a phosphorus compound, and when it is used as a food or a feed by the monogastric animals, it doesn't get digested. Why? Because there are not sufficient enzymes to digest or metabolize it, and it comes as an excreta and gets, come to the soil and as used as a manure, but the phosphorus percentage gets so increased that it leads to eutrophication, and then further to the water bodies. Then again it goes back to the same cycle. So it is hazardous environmentally also and as a diet also, because it doesn't get absorbed in the body. It goes off like that, the phosphorus particle plus the phytic acid component, if it is there during digestion in the food, it doesn't get absorbed. It doesn't even let other minerals to be absorbed, because it works as a chelating agent. So it chelates the micronutrients. So for that there are number of ways to reduce the phytic acid, although nature has created its own ways. Like earlier there were varieties which were having a low phytic acid, plus the yield of that is low, so we don't use those varieties. And one very peculiar thing which we have observed in our lab is that especially the colored, the anthocyanin, if it is the anthocyanin is more, the phytic acid is less. So anthocyanin also creates such a havoc, like it is so important for us. But we don't use those varieties. Why? Because it is not giving much of the bulk, like the yield is not that much, and our, humanly also we were not accepting the colored rice or the colored soya bean. Now our intention is totally changed. Everywhere if you see, people are going for brown rice, red rice, all those things. So these are again a very peculiar component of the plant system, and phytic acid is mainly stored in the seeds. So seeds, that too cereals and pulses and nuts. So that's why we always say that these days we need to go for the multigrain atta or something like that. Why? Because multigrains, again millets, barley, oats, every cereal has a different components. So when you mix it, then it balances out the thing, and nutritionally it is more healthy. So that is also one of the reasons. So phytic acid that way is so important to be studied, and it has, we can't even remove it, but we can make it to a substantial size, so that it works as well as it doesn't chelate and doesn't it hazardous for the health also. So those things are taken into account, and let's hope you will be able to, you will be happy to see, and you will isolate your phytic acid by any of your samples if you go through. And even I have seen now the diets are also like that. Yesterday somebody called me that nowadays there is a campaign which is going, that diet efficient food. So they are making people aware, because we are also not aware of the thing, why we are eating red rice, why we are not eating, why we are not eating millets. So this campaign has to be there. Everybody has to know about the nutritional part, and that only is possible if you people will work on it, if you will improve the thing, and that is how we can go for the nutritious diet. So today we are just going for the phytic acid estimation, and that through Megazyme kit. Okay. So we will give you the handouts for that, the methodology and everything will be given, and you people can work on that. That's all you need to say. Thank you.
Start करो. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will estimate phytic acid, right, by using this Megazyme kit. So phytic acid के बारे में, like, do you know phytic acid क्या होता है? नहीं. What is it, like? Why it is anti-nutritional? Like, क्या? It chelate ions. Does it chelate the ions that are already in your body, or it is going to only chelate the ions that you from the food that you ingest?
Which is going to be absorbed, they are chelated.
Yeah, okay. So it has nothing to do with what are already there, like in your stomach. And ठीक है. Okay, and there is one enzyme that is called phytase. Phytase, you know. Is it present in our body? No. क्योंकि अगर होता तो what is the problem? सारा टेंशन ही खत्म. Okay, and what about the ruminants like cows and buffaloes? Is it present in their system?
Yes, they have.
Okay, and and it has any impact on the environment? Phytic acid?
Eutrophication.
Yeah, eutrophication, right. Okay, so you know about everything. That is good. Okay, so see, this kit is based upon the principle. We are using two enzymes. Okay, one is phytase, and second is alkaline phosphatase. Okay. Yeah. So what we will do is, this sample is prepared in HCl. Overnight it has been shaked, so it is completely homogenized and everything. So what we will do is, first we will treat it with phytase. Okay. So what will phytase do? Like, क्या reaction होगा? It will remove inorganic phosphorus and myoinositol phosphate. This myoinositol phosphate, it will again react with alkaline phosphatase. Okay, so it will remove PI and myoinositol. This PI will react with a coloring reagent. It is made with ammonium molybdate and ascorbic acid. So after the reaction, it will give the color molybdenum blue. So that the intensity of this blue color, it will be the direct representative of the total phytic acid, right? So to nullify the effect of the phosphorus that is already in the seed, so what we'll do is we'll estimate the total phosphorus and the free phosphorus. Okay, so we'll proceed, right? Okay, so let's start. How many groups do you want? Like 2 groups? Huh?
4 it is, 3, 4 is better.
Okay. So please like stand according to your group, so that I'll hand over your Eppendorfs and your Pibits. Stand according to your groups. 3. Okay, should I start? Okay, okay. So these are the samples. So what we'll do is, F is for free phosphorus, T is for total phosphorus, F is for final sample. So what we'll do is, we will pip it first of all, because this is really, you cannot estimate from this. So you need to sediment all these, you need to precipitate, and then you'll only take the supernatant. So what you'll do is, you'll take 1 ml of this, right? Okay. इसको पिपिट करो 1 ml. Yeah.
Tell us a brief about the preparation of sample.
Sample preparation. See, it is very simple. According to kit, we have modified. Yeah. See, according to kit, what they do is that they take 1 gram of sample, and then they add 20 ml of hydrochloric acid, 0.66 molar. What we have done is, we have taken 0.5 gram of sample and 10 ml. Yeah, because 20 ml is like not very easy to manage. 10 ml is manageable, right? Yeah.
It can be done in this centrifuge to plastic centrifuge or any glass things like
If you have a glass centrifuge tube, do you have?
that.
Have you seen?
Not with cap, but we have some.
No, you need to have a cap, because we are keeping it in a apparatus. It is going to twist it like this
Okay.
for the entire night, right? It is going to be rotated for like 12-13 hours, right? Yeah, pipette in all.
So this acid will not have any reaction with this plastics.
No, absolutely no. Absolutely no. Both are the same samples. So
The sample preparation is same for all any samples. Like you have used for soybean.
yeah,
I'm using maize. So
it is same. But initially your sample should be dried. It should be crushed, homogenized, and then you can use, right?
Why it is not affected already inside presently?
हाँ, why? What?
वो हमारे अंदर के जो है प्रेजेंट ऑलरेडी उसको ये अफेक्ट क्यों नहीं करता? मतलब हम जो कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं उस पर क्यों अफेक्ट करता है?
हमारे अंदर, like, it is not going to enter the blood, and it is not going to sequester all your cations and excrete them. It is only going to work with the food that you ingest. How is it possible? It is not practically possible for something to go in your bloodstream and then come out.
Okay.
Like, it is only going to prevent or hinder the absorption of the cations that are in your food. Okay, it will only hinder the absorption, but it is not going to have any effect on what is already there. Yeah, once some cation or copper, iron, zinc, whatever, it enters your bloodstream, then no one can do anything about it. Like, it's there, right?
in which part the concentration of phytic acid will be more, sir, when compared to bran and the grain?
See, in maize it is more in germ.
In case of rice, sir, rice.
Yeah, maybe it's in bran, but I am not very sure about it. Huh? It's in bran. Because generally it is in germ for maize and all these. It's in germ, but for rice, bran. ठीक है? Yeah. So 1 ml डाल दिया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. उसको centrifuge. Yeah. So what we'll do is 12,000 RPM, 10 minutes. There is no stringency for the RPM and the time, like the amount of time it takes to settle. वो कहाँ है इसका? Where is the cap? Cap कहाँ है? कहाँ गया cap? Okay. So 12,000 RPM, 10 minutes. Yeah. 11 will also do. That's not a problem. Temperature can be room temperature. It doesn't matter, like anything will be good. Okay. After that, because this was made in acid, okay, so we'll neutralize it, okay, by sodium hydroxide, and after that we will distribute it into free phosphorus and total phosphorus. We will pipette them simultaneously, right? Yeah, mm-hmm. Show me the booklet. वो किधर गया? Set. So free के लिए, total के लिए, it's really easy. Everything is written in this. So what you do is after that you will take 0.5 ml of your sample from that, okay, clear sample, okay, and then you add 0.5 ml of sodium hydroxide, 0.75 molar. So it will neutralize the acid. ठीक. After that, what you do is this is for free, this is for total. Now you are going to pipette simultaneously distilled water, then solution 1 buffer, then sample extract, suspension to phytase. Okay, the first reaction will be with phytase. Yeah. In this kit, they will give you almost all the enzymes, but some you have to prepare yourself. Like trichloroacetic acid, sodium hydroxide, HCl, that you have to do on your own. Yeah. So before ordering the kit, if you are thinking to do one, you make sure that you have. Yeah. So in other kits, what you do is you have to dilute the enzymes and you have to keep at -20. But in this, you have to use them as such directly from the kit, right? Yeah. One more thing that's important is that you need to ensure proper cleanliness of your glasswares and your plasticwares, because water also contains some phosphorus. So that also can interfere with your result, right? Because when you will make the coloring reagent, ascorbic acid and ammonium molybdate, so it is going to react with phosphorus and it will give blue color, right? But if there is like too much amount of phosphorus already in the tube, so it is eventually going to turn blue, right? Without the presence of phosphorus. So that is going to interfere with your result. So you need to ensure they are properly washed. If you have a sonicator in your lab, so you fill that sonicator with distilled water, you wash them twice. One precaution can also be taken, that don't use the detergent that already has phosphorus. Some detergents, they have phosphorus. So you rinse it 2 times with distilled water and then you sonicate them. We have standardized 30-minute sonication, 50 degrees centigrade, half an hour, 2 cycles. Like that you can do. This is not mentioned in the kit, but we have to, yeah, that is really important because your results are going to go, down. Yeah, everything should be like double distilled water is, it should be double distilled water made from RO water if you have that facility. Yeah. Ho gaya? Is it done? 7 minutes. I think in one day you can estimate, I think, 10 samples. Don't do more than 10 because there will be a lot of chaos because there is too much of pipetting and everything. And you have to be very careful about your free phosphorus, the total phosphorus. You don't pipette the free phosphorus into total phosphorus. That we do generally. So be careful with that because you need not waste such an expensive kit and enzymes because of a pipetting error, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can take the control, and in this kit they have already given you the tentative OD. So yeah, नहीं दी OD इसको फ्रिज में रख देते हैं, हो गया अभी। यस मैम, मैं जैसे जैसे बनाता जाऊंगा ऐसे। ओके। So like immediately you try to estimate the phytic acid. It is not that you are keeping them for 1 year and after that you are estimating. So there will be a variation in the result in that condition, right? Yeah. So this is the OD. Yeah. So you need to ensure that your OD is coming in this range. Okay, if your OD of the control flour is coming in this range, then definitely the samples that you are analyzing, they are correctly done. So that is the control, and with every go you need to add a control, right? हो गया? Stop it. इसको बंद कर, एक सेकंड, let me. Okay.
पीएच का कुछ रोल है?
पीएच का जहाँ जहाँ है वहाँ पे ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल कर ली गई है, लाइक
गट में मैं बोल गट का स्टमक में
यार ट्रिप्सिन को भी इनहिबिट करता है ये,
ओके
इनहिबिट ट्रिप्सिन माइलेज को भी इनहिबिट करता है। सो ट्रिप्सिन तो एसिडिक पीएच पे काम करता है, दैट मीन्स कि इट आल्सो वर्क्स इन एसिडिक पीएच।
मतलब चिलेटिंग कैपेसिटी कौन सा
ट्रिप्सिन को डायरेक्टली नहीं, इट इज़ नॉट कि खाली चिलिएशन इज़ नॉट दी ओनली हेलो, ट्रिप्सिन को भी इनडायरेक्टली इफेक्ट करता है, लाइक और भी बहुत सारे रोल है ना, आरएनए ट्रांसपोर्ट, सेल डेथ्स को भी गवर्न करता है, लाइक बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं। ओके discard box. सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड किधर है? sodium hydroxide. Yeah. So you take 0.5 ml of this. Yes. Take this supernatant. नहीं. हाँ, this is FSS. Yeah. First you add sodium hydroxide in all the samples. That way you need not change the tip, right?
Yes.
This will neutralize the acid and then your sample will be prepared for analysis. Okay, you add 0.5. Done? Yeah. You add this and then you shake it. You mix it, right?
what it will do.
No, the sample is same.
Okay.
So if there is same sample, then there is no need to change the tip. Samples are different. Yeah. This will neutralize the acid. जो acid, yeah. 0.66 normal. लो करो.
all three tips. Test, standard and
See, this is pipetting थोड़ा सा you need to, yeah, like this. इसको इन्वर्ट करके मिक्स करो. वो इसको इन्वर्ट कर दिया, like this. But in this protocol, we tend to make the mistake of doing the wrong pipetting. Be very careful with that, because I have myself made so many mistakes. So and there are so many small steps for pipetting like this. You can see, first you add distilled water, then you add solution 1, then sample extract, then suspension, then you do vortex, then again distilled water, then solution 3, then alkaline phosphatase, then vortex, then incubation. So make a checklist of these and then try to tick on whatever you have done, because sometimes if you are going to miss a step, you will never be able to make out that whether I have done it or not, because 0.5 microliter or 200 microliter in volume, you will not be able to make out that difference, right?